G'day, Steve Morgan here, and I'm going to say this until the end of December, until our final magazine is off the shelves from Fishing Monthly magazines and ABT with the Tackle Fridays. Now, I'm not in the studio now. I'm in a hotel room in Melbourne, actually. I'm down here doing a little bit of work with Mercury, filming some of their cool new motors, including the 150R, which is 150 horsepower, 3.4 litre V6, which is basically a detuned 175 to 225 platform, tinkered with by the racing guys, so you can be guaranteed it's going to be best in class for performance. We're doing some boat tests on those, some motor reviews, etc. Getting a bit of early access to that product, which was released at the Melbourne Boat Show at Docklands a few weeks ago. I'm going to call it Fishing Monthly until the end of December. Just a note for guys that are looking for the Fishing Monthly in store, if they want to grab a last copy, like a souvenir copy, our idiot distributors have screwed up again. They do it about every second month where they screw things up. It was supposed to be on sale the 28th of November. It'll be on sale in the first week of December sometime. So if it's not at your normal news agents at the normal time, don't worry, it's going to turn up. Luckily, I don't have to deal with those morons ever again after this month. But I was thinking of Tackle Fridays. I know I've missed a few in the last few weeks, so maybe it was Tackle Saturdays when we had Jacob Wheeler on. But I brought some homework down, and we're going to talk about a few things tonight. Firstly, about some of my best baits in the BARRA Tour, but also my mind is on the Bream Grand Final, which is on next weekend. So a bit of product which just turned up and some stuff that I'll be taking down to give a go at the Daiwa Bream Series Grand Final. That's going to be an awesome event. We've taken delivery of the prize boat from Troy White. He brought it down the other day. He's fitted all the Garmin live scopes and sounders on it. Green Marine batteries are going in it. It's on a great trailer. It's a great package. It's going to be worth about $60,000 plus. By the time it sits down there and Wanji Point, someone's going to win it. Are we going to have a dual winner for the first time? I think there's 3 or 4 guys that have won the grand final before that are fishing in this event. We have never had in 25 years a dual winner of the grand final, so keep an eye on that. That might be interesting. Let's go back to BARRA Tour. BARRA Tour was freaking amazing. Not only did the internationals come across and pushed us all out of our comfort zones and made us think about new techniques by whooping our ass with them, Gussie, Carl, Jacob did exceptionally well, but to be honest, all of the field did really well. With some of the weights that were caught this year, they would have been 10 or 15 places higher if they'd caught those last year. The lakes are fishing really well. Timber around 250 fish, Kinchin around 250 fish. It's always a fish factory, but Faust each day, nearly 250 fish a day. We ended up with 996 fish put in the app, and there were teams that didn't put 5 or 10 fish in the app because they weren't upgrades at all of those lakes. So it's fishing epic at the moment. The guys are good at doing it. Even the guys at the bottom of the scoreboard on the BARRA Tour are still gun barra fishermen. They still can catch them. Barra fishing still isn't easy, but the skill level is getting up there. So I wanted to run through just, if I had to grab a couple of jerk baits and a couple of swim baits, what would I get for the BARRA Tour? Well, this is what I caught, I think, 98% of my fish on the whole time. The first ones, of course, are my favourite colour, Samaki Redix. There's the pink lady there, and that's the white bait there. Tommy Wood said he'd try a different colour, but then he went back to the white bait. They were just smashing it. This little silver stripe along the side looks like a bony bream underwater. Don't know what the pink looks like, but they really did like that at Kinchin Dam. We caught about... we had a limit before dark again at Kinchin. And in fact, I think we led that Kinchin event up until dark, and we always get mowed down by the other teams after dark. So these Redix that we fished on those Target 1 rods, braided line, 60-pound Wilson fluorocarbon leader, got the job done. We caught 74 fish for tour, and I reckon maybe well over half of them were definitely on the Redix. The other baits, and I've become a real fan of these. I never caught that many fish on live mullets. Caught a couple of random ones in the past, but they were these ones, the Xeric live mullets. 2 sizes there. This is the 5.5 inch, and this is the smaller size. Don't know exactly what size it is. But we were catching fish on these, doing the perspective mode live scoping thing. This one was the one that played at Toowoomba, the smaller one. We found there were a lot of fish really shallow, and the splash of the bigger one would actually spook them. Even if you landed 10 metres away, they'd hear that thing splash and they'd spook. So I put the small one on. I upgraded that hook to a big old decoy, and that smaller one, they ate that one just as well, and it didn't spook them as much when it hit the water. We only landed 3 for the night, but I did jump another 1 or 2 off, and I think if I had my time again, I could probably scratch out a limit. Fishing the shallow fish on that Xeric Live mullet. That one's like a little spangled perch colour. I never knew which the good colour was. I bought that one in the tackle shop at Mackay Tackle World. But then at Faust, this is the one that played, especially on the last night. I persisted with jerkbaits on the first night at Faust. But on the second night, I took some advice from Carl and Gussie, and I said, okay, I'm going to fish the live mullets and see how I go. The bite on these things, when they crunch it, and you can see them come to get it, is insane. Every single one's hooked inside the mouth. They belt it. It's like a reaction bite. And I'll see if I can put a cutaway in here where you can actually see the fish. As it comes past, bang, they just eat it. It's ridiculous. And they eat it so fast that by the time you feel the bite before you see the reaction on LiveScope, it's like really surprising because, oh, yeah, that fish has started, oh, it's already in its mouth. And that's the way that one played. This one, I cast them out, sink them only 3 or 4 seconds and wind them fast past the nose of the fish. They don't swim miles to eat it, but if it goes past their nose, they will absolutely bang it. Like most people, throw that extra treble with an extra split ring on the top. There's an extra split ring sitting in there, and I use a slightly smaller treble on the top than I do underneath. Both of those, I think, are the upgraded trebles. I took the factory ones off because I did end up bending those ones out. So the Xeric Live mullet in a couple of sizes and colours, plus the Redix. If I only had to take a pair of each lures, that would be it. But BARRA Tour said and done, and thanks to everyone who did it. It was epic. We have the Bream Grand Final next week. I get home on the weekend. Monday we pack. Tuesday night we drive to the Bream Grand Final. It's going to be the 3-day event again, where you've got to make the top 15 cut to make the last day. The non-boated prize given away after day 2. Epic tackle pack worth about $4,000. But the boaters, you've got to make it in that top cut. And like the Bass Grand Final, I hope you enjoyed the highlights of the Bass Grand Final. We will get a lot of really cool footage from observers on that day. So we normally will find 15 people to go out with those guys that are on the water and help them share their trials and tribulations on the final day. So with that in mind, first bit of news is if you're a crankbaiting boats fan or a zip bait fan, these things are back. Hit stocks should be in your tackle stores now if they've ordered them. The ZipBait Camson Junior. I've got one left here that I've used on my last time. Jamie McEwen's been giving me some hints on how to fish them. These are the ones that they detune. The way you detune them, of course, is you tweak the little eyelet the direction you want the lure to go. So if you want it to run right, you tweak it to the right, just a little bit, and those lures will run sideways, and then if you wind them a bit faster, they'll come sort of upside down and they'll bang along the hull of the boats. And the zip baits do it really well. A lot of other baits I use actually don't detune very well. But these ones, just a combination of the bib size and where the toe point is, just happen to detune really well. So I've got a pack of those coming from the guys at Frogley's. They didn't get here by the time I come down to Melbourne. But there are some other baits that I'm going to try as well. And these are some that Dan Stead left with me a month or 2 ago. And these ones I think are hitting the shelves right now as well. There's some of the duo deep divers now. I know that guys like Harry Schofield have detuned these really successfully. Fish them on pontoons, done really well in events like the Queensland Open in the past. I'm going to have some of these zip baits with me as well, because when you look size-wise, some of these zip baits are just a little bit bigger. And if I need something that's, a real windy day, or I need something with a bit more attention or something a bit different, I'm definitely going to use the duos for that. So I don't know exactly the model of these ones here, but the colours look great. There is a massive range of colours and depths and sizes coming in. I'm definitely going to have some of those, not only for my southern black brim jerk baiting, I'm going to have some of those for that boat cranking in the grand final. I've got a feeling that boat crank baiting is going to play in the grand final. It's nearly December by the time it's happening. I reckon boat cranking is going to play. I reckon that top waters in the shallows is going to play, especially when that northerly kicks in the afternoon, that it typically does. Those big fish that sit shallow will bite when there's wind on them. And I also reckon that maybe sniping on the live scope, some deep structure fish will play. There's lots of rocks and shallow bits of reef and deep bits of reef in Lake Macquarie that are between 10 and 30 foot deep. You find some big fish on those, put precise casts in, and there are some giant fish to be had there. So whether someone can crack that pattern or make that pattern last for 3 days, who knows? Interesting part of the arena this year is early on we made the bridge out of bounds. So we don't want it to be a race to the bridge. Most of the last 5 years or 7 years worth of events there have been won on the bridge. So we're taking that out of the arena to make it a level playing field, to make it maybe a little bit more fair for people that are coming from out of town or out of area to fish it. Another cool thing that's come that I'm definitely going to have packed for the grand final are some of these. These are the hybrid shrimp from Pro Lure. I just got those in the mail. They turned up just after I went to BARRA Tour, but I brought a few of them down, and they've sent me some of the shrimps, but also some of the replacement legs here. So I assume that those legs might cop a hiding from, small bream, toadfish, tail, or whatever. There is an interchangeable set of legs in there, and I'll admit I don't know how they work. This is probably the first one I've ever pulled out of a packet, but I'm going to have a look at this hybrid shrimp. And at that time of year, I think it's going to be a new moon. I'm pretty sure those shrimp will be running hard. So I'll pull it out of the box. There's a little, okay, it's pretty easy. You pull a little bit of wire out, and this is, it's got 2 sets of trebles in it. So muss and cranker crab users will be happy with it. 2 sets of trebles there. Very lifelike, realistic looking lure. Got the soft legs on it, which I assume are these ones that you replace with these ones when they get screwed. But they're sharp. They look like little decoys or some sort of little sharp hook on there. They are very sharp, and they've also, I love the little filaments there that look like little antennae. So I assume this is going to get eaten on the drop pretty good, but by the look of it, you could probably use it as a skipping bait as well. Skip it along the top in the shallows and then sink it down. It's like it's its own switch bait in the hybrid shrimp. So thanks very much to Reedy and the guys at Pro Lure for sending those up. I think they're pretty much in all the tackle stores right now. And hey, I'm pretty sure not many Bream and Lake Macquarie would have seen these. So I'm definitely going to give those a bit of a go on practice day. How good would it be scoping some bream on some realistic shrimps and seeing them scoff those things? Could be crazy good. Bream Grand Final, remember it's a 3-day event. We're going to have, if you're not at the Bream Grand Final, you're going to be watching the Bream Grand Final. We're going to run the estimator scoreboards for all the 3 days. So that's where anglers get it. They put in their the estimated weight of fish. If they catch a 34 of them, I'll put in 600 grams. So you can see on the water how people are going and then what to expect to see at the weigh-in. We'll broadcast those live weigh-ins each day. Again, 30 pros, 30 co's on the first 2 days, and just 30 boaters on the last day fighting it out for that boat. All of that hubbed on abt.org.au, which is our main website. So that's it from Melbourne. Barra lures, bream lures, and some cool looking shrimps. See you next week. It'll be sometime in the middle of the grand final. Hoping telling you about what lure I'm killing on.